Is about to spin out of control. Hey everybody, Scott Walters, welcome to the channel. If you're new, I want to thank you for coming. If you're returning, I want to thank you for your continued support. Before we get into today's red hot topic, I'm going to politely ask you to give the video a like, subscribe to the channel, leave me a comment below. I would love to hear from you. Please watch to the end for my final thought. Hit the bell icon so you're notified when new videos are released. It's very important to stay close to the channel in these very tricky times. All right, folks, welcome to the channel. It's always an honor and a privilege to be with you. I hope you're all doing great. Buckle up and strap in. We have another hard-hitting pull, no punches, no sugarcoating it, no rainbows and sunshine. Just going to give it to you and give it to you straight. And folks, we have an economy spinning out of control right now. This is getting serious. This is serious. Oh my gosh. So anyway, folks, listen. The realities are is we knew this was going to happen. We artificially stimulated the markets through stimulus spending through the government. And we're having blowback, and it's inflation. And the only way to cool it is interest rate hikes to borrow money. And so they have to do this. There's no other choice. It has to be done. We have to potentially crash the markets to save an economy. It's insane. Insanity. We knew from the beginning this one didn't pass the smell test. It was all derived from a health pandemic. We're now leaving the pandemic and entering the recession that's going to be, in fact, the blowback. I firmly believe we would have been much better off just taking our lumps initially, let the economy just crash and do a rebuild effort. We'd probably already be rebounding in a pretty healthy economy at the moment. But we will get out of the problem in the solution. And the first step of getting past the problem is admit there's a problem. We have a massive problem with our economy right now. Like I said, people are on borrowed time. People are a ticking time bomb as we speak because they can no longer keep up with their cost of living. This is insane. And see, anytime the markets get this euphoric, it's never good. As good as a lot of us feel because we're like, oh, I have, there's a little extra money, or I made a lot of money off of my house. That's just dead equity unless you access it. And to access it would be, in fact, using your property as an ATM, which is never good. And I see a lot of people doing exactly that. A lot of people blew off a lot of steam from the pandemic because they felt rich or saw that appreciation and maybe did a cash out refi or whatever the case may be. And they went out and bought some recreational vehicles, new cars, and got under more debt. It's insanity. Your job is to get out of debt. You don't want to be tied to any bank right now. It would be insane. In the last crash, the banking industry went down in flames. This is a bigger bubble. It's going to provide a bigger blowback. There's no saving this one, folks. Unfortunately, there's just a lot of people out there that are unaware of the economic blowback that comes when you overstimulate an economy or you get into a bubble environment. And we are about as bubbly as we've ever seen any economy ever grow. And that, my friends, is just dangerous. I wish there was a way I could sugarcoat it and just say, oh, this is normal, happens all the time, we cruise right through, everything goes back to normal automatically. This is just complete insanity at the moment. So the reality is, folks, is we can look at the past to predict a lot of the future. Today, though, the future is very futuristic on hyperspeed because of the amount of screen time that we all digest and participate in. It's just insane. We're very knowledgeable now. We're very smart, but at the same time, common sense has left this market a long time ago. So unfortunately for a lot of us, even though we might be smarter in some areas, we might not be as smart in common sense today. And what goes up typically comes down. We are defying gravity. We're at the razor's edge, the tipping point with runaway inflation and rising interest in a rising interest rate environment. And we're teetering on a razor's edge that could in fact collapse all markets at any given day. Insanity. We continue to see the government and big heavy hitter billionaires warn of a recession, but many people are just out there clueless to the fact that that's what's coming. And it's almost guaranteed. It's hard for me because I come here and try to remain poised and thoughtful in these messages and in these talks, but in the reality, it's only because I come here very often and give my thoughts around this economy that I'm probably not, shaking in my boots right now in front of this camera. It is that serious. That's serious. So folks, we have three levels of a economic downturn. You have a correction being the least severe, a recession being a middle of the road, and a full-blown depression, which is when the bottom falls out. So in the last housing crash of 2008, that was in fact a recessionary level of a recession. And then back in the great stock market crash of 1929, that was actual depression. Historical data shows that we do produce depressions approximately every 100 years. So mathematically, that is alive. We have produced the perfect storm to deliver a depressionary level of a recession because of the fact that all the money that flooded into the economy. Everybody had money and people couldn't keep up with the demand of people spending money. We overheated an economy, and anytime anything overheats, it ultimately blows. So the reality is, I don't know how fast a depression would be produced and we'd see the firsthand effects of it. Like I've said, it wouldn't surprise me if it comes overnight. It could be a year, could be 2 years, but I do believe one is in fact coming just based on what we just talked about. So we have to understand that what it would look like is in fact businesses will board up, jobs will go away, homes will be foreclosed in waves. It's just what happens. And then you'll see people looking for work because they're starving. They need to feed their families. And as our food shortages continue to be an issue, that might be something that's coupled in with it. Lack of work, out of a job, out of a house, hungry. You're going to see people migrating to wherever they hear there's work out of pure survival mode. It's just the realities of the world we're currently living in. That's our world. That's our history. That's what's coming. It's always come. So anybody that thinks that it can't come clearly just has never studied history. But history always tends to rhyme and potentially repeat itself. We'll see caravans of people going across country trying to get to areas that have work, living in. We already see people living in their cars and vans and buses and RVs. It's already out there. Already tents. It's out there. It's happening. But they're on the fringes right now. They're not dominating. They're not as it's not as evident, but it's out there. It's already happening right now as we speak. I don't know about you guys, but I see it all the time. I see people living in parking lots constantly, way more than I saw pre-pandemic. The pandemic is already delivering that. So as we enter into a potential deep cycle depression, what you're going to see is people migrating to areas that they hear there's work. It's going to be insane. It's going to be absolute insanity. It could turn into an episode of Mad Max Beyond Thunderdome. Like, these movies weren't created out of pure fantasy. There was some thought. I always say the truth usually is somewhere in the middle. So I don't know if we're going to end up with Mad Max Beyond Thunderdome, but I also know we're probably not going to be living in an episode of Chitty Chitty Bang Bang either. This could be, in fact, a depression, like the Great Depression, where people migrated to areas looking for work, food shortages, food lines, living in their vehicles, teaming up together to try to, weather a storm. That's what comes. That is what comes when you overheat an economy. In the last Great Depression, we overheated the economy and then the markets crashed, and that's what transpired. So if you think that we haven't overheated an economy again and the markets got too big and aren't at crash risk, you're drinking the Kool-Aid. I hate to be the one to tell you that, but my job is to wake people up. Your job, hopefully, is to help me do that. Our rewards in life are in direct proportion to our contribution. You can contribute to wake people up simply by giving the video a like. And final thoughts today, folks. Our job is to raise awareness, to let people know it's not all rainbows and sunshine yet. We're leaving a pandemic and entering a recession. Our job now is to see how deep cycle of this recession will be produced, because one will be produced. Correction, recession, or depression. One of the three is coming. Personally, due to the 100-year cycle and what just happened with this economy, I'm a little bit on the side of a depression actually being produced. We will continue to heat map and temperature check and always give an honest, thoughtful take on what's going on out there. But that is, in fact, what is going on. If you appreciate the content, I want to humbly ask you to give the video a like, subscribe to the channel, and leave a comment below. I would love to hear from you. Social media links are in the description of this video if you'd like more access to me, along with other channels I've appeared on. I think you'd love. If you're watching from your television set today, another video is in your screen along with an easy subscribe icon for your convenience. As always, thank you for your time. Please go make it count. We'll see you on the next video.